The Craft is a movie that was produced in 1996. I've personally seen the movie many times, so it was easy to pull a successful evaluation of the portrayal of Wiccans out of the film. The movie is about 4 high school girls who learn about witchcraft to use for their own gain. They form a coven together and make up the 4 corners, or the 4 elements: earth, air, water, and fire. Each of these girls has a troubled backstory that brings them to the craft in hopes of escaping their own personal miseries. These girls are in a coven and practice witchcraft, which puts them very close to my group, Wiccans who practice in a multi-gender coven. Though the witches here are all female, they fulfill the Wiccan and coven aspects of my group. This video is the epitome of how the media tends to portray Wiccans, especially young Wiccans. This portrayal is wildly inaccurate, which is why I chose this movie, to dispel the false notions this portrayal gives off. The characters in the film non-verbally communicate that witches come from troubled backgrounds and use the craft only for material gain. They also communicate that the group wears darker clothing and represents a sort of counterculture in society. Specifically, they wear gothic clothes, which are black clothes, spiked jewelry, crosses, etc., heavy makeup, dark hair, and have pale skin if Caucasian. Because all the girls have different set backgrounds, they all have different forms of nonverbal communication. The characters are Sarah, Nancy, Bonnie, and Rochelle. Sarah's mother died while giving birth to her, and Sarah feels as though she doesn't know who she is because she's missing that motherly piece of herself. She dresses normally as compared to her friends and seems to be the good witch of the movie. She just wants to find herself and feel happy. Nancy is, quote, trailer trash from an abusive family and is thus aggressive and the leader of the group, and is very inconsiderate of others, is very selfish and power hungry, because she wants to rise out of her trashy status. She dresses in all black, wears thick black mascara, black hair, red lipstick or black lipstick, powdered white face, and spiky jewelry. She wants to leave her life behind and finally feel the power to do whatever she pleases. Bonnie has scars all over her back that make her act like an unconfident individual. She is reclusive and self-conscious, always wishing her body was normal. She does not do her hair and dresses in black frumpy clothes and wants to be beautiful and feel beautiful. Rochelle is the token black girl in the group, unfortunately. She is regularly ridiculed for being black in a predominantly white school. Her personality is not as developed as the other characters, but is calm, dresses normally, but also darker tinted colors to her clothing, and has curly, naturally colored hair with some blonde highlights. She seeks revenge on those whose racist remarks plague her at everyday life in school. They also regularly visit the group of girls themselves, regularly visit an occult Wiccan supply shop that contains spellbooks, candles, athames, and many other regular ritual tools. Verbally, they refer to their one god, Menoch, who represents all that is. Nancy explains that if God were playing a football game against the devil, Menoch would be the air that they breathed, the grass they walked on, the stadium they played in, the sun that gave them sight, and their fiery spirits that fuel their game. So they use the word Menoch to sum up all of the aspects of the Wiccan gods in one abstract idea. As far as their personal needs to tap into the power of Menoch, they often talk about the things they want, how they feel, and how angry and spiteful they are of other people. Nancy in particular uses rather violent language because she's so angry with the world. At the end of the movie, they use the word invoke several times in reference to the powers of Menoch. Nancy and Sarah invoke the powers of Menoch, which means to demand Menoch bestow powers upon them. The girls also refer to Menoch as a male aspect by continually saying the words him and his. As an example would be when Nancy says, "I feel him in me." When creating their coven, the girls do use some common Wiccan phrases, such as, "with perfect love and perfect trust, blessed be, as above and so below," and they refer to each other as "my sisters." These words and phrases connect the girls to the group, whereas words like Menoch, which suggest there is one male god, pull the girls further away from the group. Overall, the girls verbally and non-verbally communicate several things that portray Wiccans their age. Wiccans who practice in the coven, according to this portrayal, are all female, seek only for material gains, worship one male deity, wear black clothing, wear a lot of makeup and dark-colored lipsticks, come from a harsh background, are perfectly fine with harming other people, are vengeful, slightly reclusive, selfish, and are members of the counterculture. This stereotype is actually more common than you think, as it has been suggested to me several times before, and this portrayal can be found all over the internet. However, this portrayal is also very incorrect. Wiccans, according to the sources in my academic perspective, interviews, and from my personal experience, are just normal folks who's spiritual and believe that the divine can be represented in both male and female deities. Wiccans often practice in covens that are multi-gendered and have more than 4 members. They are also, by the nature of the religion, unselfish individuals who are not religious for the material gains and promise not to harm anyone when they do their spells, which is something that all of the witches in the craft sought to do. Wiccans are not of the counterculture, though some may be. They are just regular folks. Therefore, this portrayal is really off, which is why I chose to review it, because I feel as though those myths need to be dispelled.